Hi, this is Alexis from the Kiteboarder Magazine. We're here in Hood River, AWSI. I'm here with Ewan and Naish. I mean, like, the pivot, I mean, the boxer, like, you've got some phenomenal kites that, like, are winners.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about the pivot? It's been kind of our go-to kite for so many years now, and every year we want to make it better, but we also don't want to change what makes it such a popular kite. So this year, the main focus, we all know the smaller pivots, the 7, 8, 9, 10, are just absolute winners. They go huge in all the big air contests. Any average rider you put it out on, they just go massive. But this year we really want to focus on making the bigger sizes, the 12 and the 14, have that same kind of big air capability. Whereas before they're always very powerful kites, but you really wanted to get a little bit more height straight up instead of pulling you downwind. So this year, as you can see from the pivot, we've kind of made the whole profile and aspect a higher aspect ratio kite. It sits further forward in the window, and actually instead of turning a whole lot faster, it flies a lot faster through the window. So when you send it up to 12 o'clock for a jump, it'll really rocket up to 12 o'clock and turns that power from riding along to upwards really quickly. So you can get way higher jumps than before on the 12 and the 14, which is something we've really been loving, because it's that big air category that's getting so popular at the moment. There's a lot of places around the world where they're trying to do that on 12s and 14s, so yeah, we're pretty stoked with that. Overall on the kite, throughout the whole range as well, we've lightened up things as well. You can see these new bumpers we've got, super lightweight Kevlar bumpers, so that, I mean, everything about a kite, when you make it lighter, everything gets better. It's more responsive and all that, but we've made sure to keep it strong, stiff, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, pivot this year, really focused on making the bigger sizes a lot better, but otherwise it's still that kite for everyone all round, but really focused on big air and performance free ride.
Awesome, now let's move on.
So over here we've got the Boxer, another super popular kite, especially in the American market. We see this as probably our second biggest seller after the pivot, and that's just kind of come with the boom of kite foiling obviously, but also the Boxer's kind of dedicated not just as a foiling kite, but then we've got the bigger sizes up to 16 meter. The Boxer's, we've got the biggest size range in all of our lineup in the Boxer, so it starts at a 2.8 and goes all the way to a 16 meter. And each size obviously has different characteristics to what make it a good single strut kite. The Boxer here, we've got the 6 meter. This one is pretty dedicated to foiling, so for a 6 meter kite, a lot of 6 meter kites in the past are obviously made to fly in strong wind. So this thing, we've really made a 6 meter that flies super well in 12 knots of wind or something. So the way we've done that, we've removed a bunch of panels this year. Same with the other kites. We've thinned out all the bumpers and all that. We've got the nice super lightweight bumpers, and the whole kite just pretty much weighs nothing. So another feature that makes it really great for foiling is this luff strut we've got here, where the strut can actually come away from the canopy. So when you're drifting downwind and light wind, the kite can kind of expand and drift with the wind, which is really an important feature for foiling, especially on like cruisier foils. When you're just going downwind with no power in the kite, you don't want it to be falling at the sky and having to constantly turn it to keep it in the window. You want it to just sit there and drift downwind. I had a great session on this one here actually in about 20 knots. We powered up to the hatchery and then came all the way back downwind, just parking the kite in one spot, foiling all the way back down. So yeah, not only is it a great foiling kite, but those characteristics really make it a good wave kite as well, and in the bigger sizes a great light wind kite. I've been using the 16 Boxer in the park a lot as well, and that drift just makes it a really great one. So it's a really good all-rounder, and yeah. So onto the Slash. This is our kind of dedicated strapless wave kite. Obviously, as with all of our kites, it's not just for the one discipline. You can use this thing for foiling, twin tipping, but really what makes it, what we've designed it for is strapless wave riding, or strat wave riding, but going down the line, having that drift, having that really light pull in the turn. So when you go for a bottom turn, loop the kite, it's not going to give you an instant big pull off your board, you're going to have a nice, controlled, smooth turn, so your whole wave riding experience is all really flowy and linked together. This year, the main thing as well, we've removed a lot of the panels from the kite to make it lighter weight. With this, we've still got this seam that goes through, it's a load seam that goes through the whole kite, keeps the stiffness from all the way from where the back lines connect to the middle of the kite, so it gives a nice direct feel and just keeps a little bit more canopy tension as well. Yeah, same thing, really great drift. That makes it really great for foiling as well. If you were kind of choosing, as if you're a wave rider and a foiler, if you're leaning more towards your wave riding, you could go this and then use it for foiling as well. If you're a bit more the opposite way, a bit more foiler but want to get in the waves every now and then you'd probably go the boxer. So yeah, really great strapless kite, strapless freestyle, all that stuff. Here we've got the dash. This is the limited edition graphic of the dash, obviously with the classic Naish skull on there. Super popular graphic actually, this one. When we released it last year, I think we brought it out in a Cape Town video. It was
Everybody's frothing.
Everyone was frothing. It was like, all of a sudden it was only in the dash, and so many people who, more of a pivot rider or something, or a torch rider, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I'm getting on the dash just for this graphic. But something we've been working on recently as well with the dash, this is a really sensitive part of the kite here that we've got a bridle adjustment on, and you can ride it on this setting, which keeps the arc further open when this is a little bit looser and gives you a bit more of a glidey jump and feel, probably more similar to like the pivot. And then if you shorten it up to here, it closes the kite up, gives you a little bit more direct feel, a bit more aggressive, kind of sea kite feel. And I prefer it on this setting just because I've come from riding the torch for so many years. But yeah, a lot of people kind of like this more open feeling. But the dash is that all-round free ride to freestyle kite. If you're someone who doesn't want to give away the unhooking and that kind of stuff, you still want to unhook but boost, loop, even foil, this is like the kind of sports car in the lineup.
Awesome. Now let's move on to the Triad.
The Triad's one we released a couple of seasons ago. When we brought it out, it was that, kite for 99% of the population. So basically, we kind of worked off the pivot and made something that was a little bit more sheet in and go, a little bit more forgiving, but still has that power, because you really don't want to be making a beginner kite that people are going to outgrow. It's just not something that you kind of feel right selling to someone that's only going to last them a season or something. So this one we really want to focus on keeping the performance, because it's really important that you can grow with the kite, still be able to go out and throw your boosts, learn kite loops, go foiling, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we did with the Triad. It kind of, just the way it flies is a little more, as I was saying, forgiving. Doesn't pull quite as hard in the turns as the pivot. Some of the team riders are actually really liking it for big air. I know Ross, who's up there in all the big air competitions, he's been using the 9 Triad for kite loops quite a bit, just because he feels he can go a little bit harder, try that new trick, and it's not going to pull him quite as hard. It's going to recover a bit quicker, and he can really trust it. We've also got in this, which the pivot doesn't have, the anti-stiction windows. So that's when you're trying to relaunch your kite to get that last kind of, it's easy to get the kite from here onto its side, but there's sometimes in the light wind it'll fill with water in the wing.
That release really helps.
And this release just gets rid of the water out the wingtip and really helps. The Triad is another kite that we removed a bunch of the panels as well. We've gone down to 12 panels from I think 16, which just lightens up the whole kite as well. Makes it drift a little bit better, hold a bit more wind, and drifts downwind better. So yeah, kind of like the more forgiving pivot for those riders who just want a little bit more ease of use out of their kite, but still you're not going to outgrow this.
Now I know you didn't go all over all the specifics and sizes and all the technical stuff. Where can they go to find all that?
Of course, if you want to look more into the details, we've got product videos, more stats, the sizes, nashkites.com for all your needs.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.